Welcome to this explainer. Let's get right into exactly how you can protect your Illinois home from the heavy storms and those rapid waterway rises that spring always seems to bring us. We've all seen how quickly the weather can turn around here, right? And when those massive spring downpours hit, your basement is basically your first line of defense. So today, we're going to look really closely at the practical, actionable steps you can take right now to fortify your home well before that first drop of rain starts falling.
Okay, let's kick this off by asking a really simple but absolutely crucial question. Is your basement actually ready for spring? We kind of have to face a hard truth right out of the gate here. You cannot control the weather. You literally can't stop the intense storms, and you can't stop the local waterways from rising. But you absolutely can control where the water goes once it actually reaches your property. By making just a few strategic adjustments, you're making sure that water has way fewer entry points into your home, which means significantly less ability to cause you lasting damage.
We're going to use a really systematic defense approach today. First, the spring flood threat. Second, inspecting your active defenses. Third, sealing common entry points. Fourth, securing the exterior. And finally, creating an emergency plan.
Let's start with Section 1, the spring flood threat.
Listen, before you start any of the heavy lifting, you've got to know exactly what you're up against. The absolute most crucial point here is establishing what we call pattern recognition for your specific basement. It's literally your best guide for where to start fortifying. Every single home is unique. If your basement has taken on water in past years, I want you to think back. Where did that water show up first? Was it kind of creeping in around the floor drains? Was the sump pit overflowing? Or maybe you noticed some moisture around the pipes entering the wall or near a very specific crack in the foundation. By identifying these historical patterns, you can target your efforts and fix the exact vulnerabilities that are going to deliver the biggest payoff for your time and your wallet.
Moving right along to Section 2, inspecting your active defenses.
The beating heart of your mechanical protection is for sure your sump pump. If you have one, you absolutely need to test it before the heavy rain gets here, and you can just follow this really simple sequence. First up, check that float switch. Make sure it actually activates when the water level rises. Second, go ahead and clear the discharge line. Your pump has to be able to freely push that water far away from your foundation. And third, and this is a big one, if you have a battery backup or a water-powered backup system, which I highly recommend by the way, verify that it's fully functional and the batteries are charged. A main pump is completely useless if the power goes out during a massive storm and your backup isn't ready to take the reins.
Now, beyond just the pump, you kind of need to act like a home inspector in your own house and physically check your other active drainage points. Clear out any junk or debris from your floor drains to make sure the grates can drain freely. Check your sump pits for any nasty buildup, and definitely inspect any backflow valves your system might have. Oh, and hey, if you rely on a dehumidifier to keep your basement's humidity in check, go service it right now. Seriously, do not wait on that.
And this quote brilliantly hits the nail on the head as to why you shouldn't wait. It's a total domino effect. A failed dehumidifier or a backed up drain isn't just about standing water. It's a rapidly escalating health hazard for your whole house. As the source material points out, flooding often turns a simple moisture problem into a severe mold risk within a matter of days. Keeping that dehumidifier in top shape is just absolutely critical for managing the aftermath of any dampness.
All right, on to Section 3, sealing common entry points.
Let's talk about your passive interior defenses. Basically, we're focusing on stopping water from migrating through the building envelope in the first place, which is super important if you have an older basement. You know, a lot of major basement leaks actually start incredibly small. So watch out for these early warning signs: hairline cracks in the foundation, tiny gaps where plumbing or wiring comes into the house, and any poorly sealed penetrations. Actually, even if your basement is finished, you should keep an eye out for damp drywall seams or paint that's blistering right near the foundation. Those are red flags that water is slowly migrating through the walls. Fixing these minor issues before the storms roll in is going to save you from those damaging, repetitive cycles of wetting and drying.
Up next, Section 4, securing the exterior. Believe it or not, improving your exterior drainage often matters just as much as all your indoor prep. Look at this indoor versus outdoor comparison. It really shows that keeping water away from the foundation on the outside is the ultimate partner to sealing things up on the inside. I mean, you can seal cracks all day long, but if your gutters are dumping hundreds of gallons of water directly onto the base of your house, eventually that water's going to win. Make sure your downspouts are pointing water at least several feet away from the foundation, and double-check that the grading of your yard is actually sloping away from your home, not funneling right toward it.
Think of this part as your outdoor mental clipboard. These are simple but incredibly vital steps to ensure your yard isn't just actively funneling rainwater straight into your basement walls.
Take a walk around your property. Clear out any debris from the yard's drainage paths. Scoop the leaves and silt out of your window wells, because let me tell you, those are notorious for filling up like fish bowls and leaking right through the glass. Make sure your garden beds and landscaping aren't acting like mini dams blocking the runoff. And hey, if you notice the ground settling near your house, you might need to seriously look into regrading or installing some targeted drainage solutions.
And finally, Section 5, creating an emergency plan.
Because look, even with the absolute best interior and exterior defenses, extreme weather is wild and mechanical systems can just fail. Taking these fail-safe steps in advance is basically your ultimate insurance policy. It reduces physical damage and a ton of extreme stress when severe conditions actually hit. First rule, elevate. Get those frequently damaged items off the floor, especially stuff that soaks up water like a sponge. You know, cardboard boxes, papers, fabrics, and obviously electronics. Ditch the cardboard and use plastic bins with tight-fitting lids for your valuables. Then, get everybody in the house on the same page by assigning specific family roles during a storm. Decide right now who's going to check the sump pump, who's on water monitoring duty, and who's responsible for grabbing a camera and documenting any damage for future claims.
And speaking of claims, please do not wait until your basement is taking on water to discover that your standard homeowner's policy won't cover the damage. Check this today. It's a huge misconception that a standard policy covers all water damage. A lot of times, they absolutely do not cover flood damage or specific types of groundwater backup. Give your agent a quick call and confirm exactly what kind of flood coverage you have for your basement and your stuff, just so you aren't caught off guard.
So take this checklist, grab your family, and ask yourselves this exact question tonight. What is our emergency plan? Prepping your Illinois home for spring floods doesn't have to be some huge, overwhelming nightmare. It's really just a practical mix of checking your mechanical systems, doing a little targeted interior sealing, optimizing your yard's drainage, and having a solid backup plan in your back pocket. By getting out ahead of these storms, you're giving your home an incredible advantage. You can't stop the rain from falling, but when the next historic storm rolls into Illinois, are you going to be up all night pacing the floor, or are you going to sleep soundly knowing your fortress is totally secure?